Hello, 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 it's Sarah from No Longer a Problem and welcome to this Creating a Confident You class. In this class, I want to give you some practical hints and tips that I use with my one-to-one clients so that you can go away and start creating a confident life for you. Because the good thing is that you can become confident, even if you feel like you've never been a confident person your whole life. At some point you have been, you just might not remember. So what we're going to do today is give you some tips that you can go away and transform your life. So the first one is affirmations. Hello, 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 and welcome to this Creating a Confident You class. I'm Sarah from No Longer a Problem, and I want to help you today by giving you 4 practical tips, handy hints that you can start implementing in your life right after you finish watching and listening to this, so that you can start creating that confident you, because you are in there somewhere, and I want to help make you more confident so that you feel like you can do anything that at the moment you might be putting off. So whether that's speaking at an event, doing that 60-second elevator pitch at a networking event, maybe for you it's much smaller, so maybe you feel unconfident answering the phone or speaking to new people one-to-one. Whatever it is that's holding you back, these tips today are going to help transform the way that you feel inside and the way that you're able to express yourself on the outside. And as well as the other things in this confidence bundle, it means that all together they're going to help just create a more confident you. How good does that sound? Okay, so the first one is affirmations, and I used to think affirmations were just a bit silly, but actually once you get into them, it really helps change your mindset. Basically, you've been thinking for a very long time that you're not confident, and like I said, you've probably been putting things off and thinking you can't do certain things because of the way that you feel. And all that is a story you're telling yourself. So you're telling yourself you're not confident. You're telling yourself you can't speak at an event. You're just telling yourself a story. And what affirmations do is they help transform your story. So they help take it from a negative, oh, I just can't do this, it's too hard, I'm too scared, into a, actually, I can do this. And the more you repeat that, the more times you say those affirmations, you begin to believe them. Your brain thinks, well, if you're saying this enough, then I'm going to start to believe it. And your subconscious is such a clever thing. And so the more you can program it with positive things, the more positive things it creates in your life. So the first thing I want you to start doing is thinking of some affirmations that relate to you. So I've given you some examples here. What you need to think about when you're thinking of affirmations is talk in the present. So I am calm and confident. Not I will be in 3 months' time, but I am right now in this moment. And you might not feel like it, but like I said, the more you repeat it, I am calm and confident. I am. Actually, I am. The more it becomes true. I can speak to anyone with ease. That should say ease. I do apologise for my spell check. I can speak to anyone with ease. Again, just in the present moment that you're doing it, and then if you find yourself in a situation, where you might be feeling a bit nervous, you can just start saying those affirmations before you get there. When you get there, I can speak to you with ease. I'm calm and confident. I'm relaxed no matter what situation I find myself in. And this is a general brilliant one, because we often find ourselves in situations that we have no control over, or that we didn't imagine we'd find ourselves in. And, maybe they're tricky situations, but you can deal with anything. You can find the positive things you want to be saying to yourself, and you can deal with anything. And my favourite one, I am awesome and I can do anything. You are awesome. You're an awesome person. You might be feeling like you're lacking a bit of confidence, but you are awesome. You've got lots of skills, lots of talents, lots of wonderful traits about you. And I want you to remember just how awesome you are. You are. There's only one of you. You're one of a kind. And I want you to remember that you can do anything. The only limits in life are the ones we put on ourselves. You can do anything. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And with these affirmations, you can start to create that positive self-story in your head. The things that you're saying to yourself become much more positive. Life becomes a lot more positive. And you put out into the world what you're thinking, what you're feeling. So you'll give off that confident, positive aura everywhere you go. That energy that you give off to people, people will be like, oh, look at her, full of confidence. So that's what I want you to start with. So your first task after this class is to write some affirmations. You don't have to have loads. In fact, if you start with just a couple that you say to yourself in the morning when you get up, say it in front of the mirror, because you really want to believe those affirmations. And at first it might feel difficult. It might feel like, well, I don't really feel calm and confident. But if you start saying it to yourself in the mirror, you'll notice your shoulders dropping. You'll notice that you're lifting up your chest a bit, that you're sitting a bit taller, because you're starting to feel calm and confident in your body. And the more you feel calm and confident, the more able you are to believe that you are calm and confident. So start with a couple. Start repeating them every morning. you know, when you're on the loo, when you're driving a car, stick them around the house so that whenever you see them, you're reminded, and then say them again before bed. And the more positive affirmations you can fill your head with, the more positive a story you're telling about yourself. Okay. So next, I want you to transform that voice in your head. And what do I mean by that? So we all have a voice in our head, and usually it's our own voice, but sometimes it's someone else, you know. It might be a mum's voice, it might be your dad's voice, it might be a school teacher's voice. Sometimes that's just that doubting Debbie in the back of your head. So you might come up with a great idea. I'm going to set up my own business. And that voice in your head's like, what makes you think you can make that a success? Or you can't do that, you're too stupid. Or don't be ridiculous, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. You need to bring in money and that's not a good idea. So that voice in your head that poo-poos all your good ideas, that's your doubting Debbie voice. And doubting Debbie is not a pleasant person to have in your head. And that voice in your head should be your biggest cheerleader. That voice in your head, every time you do something, no matter how small and seemingly insignificant, that voice in your head should be literally cheering from the sidelines, clapping, doing high kicks, whooping. She should think you're fantastic. And if that voice in your head isn't doing that for you, then you need to do something about it. So there are ways that you can change that. You can decide to turn that voice off. You control the thoughts in your head. I'm going to do a little bit about this at the end, but you control the thoughts in your head. They don't control you. And sometimes as we get older, we forget that and we think, oh, this is the way I'm always going to be. This is the way I have to feel. Absolutely not. If you don't like a thought in your head, ditch it, get rid of it. And I'm going to show you how at the end. But with this doubting Debbie voice, it's as simple as turning her off. So, you know, if you come up with a great idea, I'm going to run the London Marathon next year, and doubting Debbie says, oh, don't be ridiculous, you can barely walk around the roads. Tell her to shut up. Press the mute button in your head. Turn down the volume. You don't have to listen to that voice, because the only voice you should be listening to is the one that says, yeah, hell yes, you've got a whole year to train. If you start now and you take it easy, you'll be brilliant. Imagine how you'll feel at the end. That's the voice in your head, the positive voice I want you to listen to. The other thing you can do is turn that doubting Debbie into something that makes you laugh. So with my clients, I often get them to change the voice into something, you know, that makes them laugh, whether that's Joe Pasquale in a squeaky voice, or to imagine them singing. You know, nothing's that scary if it's sung. You can just manipulate the voice so that it doesn't have the same effect on you, because I want you to have that support in your head, and that will come from the affirmations, because they're going to be positive and they're going to be supporting you. But I also want you to have that cheerleader in your head, the one that's saying, yes, you can absolutely do whatever it is you want to do. You can be this confident person. Absolutely, you can do that presentation. Of course, you can speak at that networking event. That voice in your head, like I said, should be a cheerleader. And I want you to imagine it as a cheerleader. Make her visual, make her, you know, give her some pom-poms, give her a little rah-rah skirt. And when you do something brilliant, no matter how small it is, celebrate everything you do well, because creating that positive energy in you is just going to make you feel more confident. If the voice in your head is telling you that you are amazing, you'll feel amazing. You're telling yourself with those affirmations that you're confident, that you're calm, that you're in control. You will feel those things. So much of how we behave and how we react is all down to our thoughts, and taking back control of your thoughts is absolutely the way to transform your confidence. Okay, number 3, visualize. So I'm a big fan of visualization. And your brain doesn't know the difference between real and fake. So if you create something in your imagination and you think about it in enough detail, your brain already thinks that thing's happened. So if you can visualize yourself doing something where you, at the moment, you're putting it off. So whether it is setting up your own business, whether it is speaking at that event, whether it's just introducing yourself to a stranger, whatever it is that you're sort of hung up on and you don't want to do because you think you're not confident enough, I want you to create that scenario where it goes well. So I want you to visualize it as if it's the biggest success it can be. So I want you to imagine it where you're calm. So if you've read through those 10 steps to speaking with confidence, I want you to imagine all those things have been done, and you've gone to this event, or you've met somebody and you've speaking to them for the first time. And I want you to imagine that everything goes well. So your heart might have started racing, but you took a breath and you remembered that's just natural. You remembered to breathe. You remembered eye contact and body language. You remembered to smile. You were confident about what you were talking about. And then the event went brilliantly. So I want you to see it. And that's the what would you be doing thing. I want you to see it in as much detail as possible. Arriving. What were you wearing? You know, do you have a nice pair of shoes on? Your hair looked lovely. You know, you just looked perfect. However you wanted to look on the day, that's how you looked. You arrived, you know, if you're speaking at an event, say, you looked around the room and you saw some familiar faces and that was lovely. And then you were introduced and you got up and you spoke and everything went perfectly and you spoke at a speed that was right and you made time for questions and everything went perfectly. And I want you to imagine it in as much detail as possible, even down to the, you know, what questions were asked by the audience, how did you answer, you know, what thoughts, positive, happy thoughts were going through your head as you were talking, as you realised that you could actually do this thing that you've been worried about, that you could do it confidently. And then I want you to imagine how you'd feel. So confidence, imagine it like a colour. So I want you to imagine confidence right now as a colour, whatever colour you want, and I want you to see that colour inside of you at this event. And I want you to see how strong that colour was, how vibrant, how it filled every single aspect of your body, so that you just felt calm, in control, and the more confident you got, the stronger and brighter that colour gets. And perhaps that colour spreads out across the audience so that everybody else notices how confident you are. They all feel that you have absolutely nailed whatever it is you've been putting off. And just imagine that colour, and you can carry that colour around. That's yours to keep. That's a freebie from me. That beautiful, confident colour is now inside you, and you can carry that everywhere. And whenever you feel like you're lacking confidence, I just want you to think of that colour instantly. And in the hypnotherapy I've given you an anchor, way to anchor anxiety and a lack of confidence, because that's what a lack of confidence is. It's a form of anxiety. You're worried things aren't going to go right, but in that I've given you an anchor, which is just the idea of something as simple as pressing your thumb and your finger together, gets rid of those anxious thoughts, those worries, and floods your body with a positive feeling. And what I want you to do is attach that colour to that anchor. So whenever you're feeling worried or tense or anxious or lacking in confidence, if you press your thumb and finger together, and it will make more sense after you've listened to the hypnotherapy, I want you to just imagine that calm, confident colour that you're imagining right now filling your body, because that colour is powerful and it can push out any doubt, it can silence doubting Debbie, it can fuel up your high-kicking, whooping cheerleader. That confident colour is what's going to make you be able to be confident in any situation. And how will people react to this new confident you? So when you're standing there and you're oozing this confident colour and it's going across the crowd and everyone's thinking, wow, I wish I was as confident as her or him, how will that feel? How will people be with you? You know, will they come up to you more? Will they talk to you more? Will they, you know, ask you to more events? How will people react to this new confident you? How will your friends and family react to it? Because often when you grow in confidence, people can take it one of two ways. They can think it's amazing, or they can think, oh my God, like, I'm not sure how about this. And you have to understand that people's reactions to you might be different. But I want you to know that most reactions will be positive, because you are growing in confidence. You are becoming a confident you. And like I said, make it as real as possible, so as much detail as possible. And if you could spend 10 minutes every day for a couple of weeks visualising yourself at this thing, your subconscious will just think you've done it 14 times. Wow, she's spoken 14 times. We do it every day for 2 weeks, 14 times. And when you actually go to an event, your subconscious will think, well, we've done it 14 times, so of course this is going to go easily. Of course this is a breeze, because she is confident. And you'll get up there and your heart won't be racing and you'll remember to breathe and you'll just feel fabulous. So make it as real as possible, but commit to doing it for 10 minutes every day. It's only 10 minutes and you'll be amazed at the difference. And the fourth one is let it go. I'm going to try not to sing. You weren't born lacking in confidence. It might feel like you've always lacked confidence, but you haven't. You've just learned it. It's a learned behaviour to be anxious and worry and feel unconfident. So the good news is that you can unlearn it. And you don't need to know why you feel this way. You just need to believe me that you haven't always been lacking in confidence. So the good news is that now, with these tips and these techniques, you can start to find that confident you, because she's in there. She's in there. It's just what happens is, as we get older, we're expected to behave in certain ways and do certain things and live by certain expectations and within other people's rules. And our confidence gets kind of covered up with layers of cack, excuse my technical term. And that rubbish, it makes us kind of a different version of ourselves. And I often, with my clients, give them a nice shiny diamond, because we're all born with diamonds inside us. We just, that rubbish, that cack covers it up. So that confident you is part of that diamond. By taking off the layers of cack, by taking back control of your thoughts, by turning your story more positive, what you're doing is you're creating a way to let that diamond shine, a way to let your confident self out, because she's just been locked in a cupboard somewhere deep inside. And she wants to come out. That confident you is inside you. We all need that confidence so we can go about our general lives, you know. It isn't just about getting on stage and speaking at a massive presentation, but just on a day-to-day basis, you know, contact with new people or having to do a new thing. We all need an element of that confidence. So you are born with it, but for whatever reason, it's just got lost a little bit. But I want you to know that you are already more confident than when you started this video, trust me, because you've got that beautiful confident colour in you, a reminder that you're a shining diamond and you deserve to show off your skills and your talents to everybody around you. And that's what I want you to do. So a fabulous way to let it go is a balloon exercise that I use a lot in my hypnotherapy. It's one of my favourite techniques, and it is a massive, has massive effects, because like I said at the beginning, you should be in control of your thoughts, and your thoughts control your behaviour and your feelings. So if you're feeling unconfident or nervous or anxious, then you're thinking it. And you have about 60,000 thoughts a day, so it's impossible to police them all. But if you're feeling a certain way, the consensus is most of those thoughts will be thinking it. So, but you can choose how you feel. And if you don't want to feel unconfident, if you don't want to feel worried, if you don't want to feel anxious about getting up and speaking at an event, you don't have to. And that's what the balloon exercise is really good at. So what I want you to do is just close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that you're surrounded by balloons. And if you're frightened of balloons, make them bubbles. But imagine that you're surrounded by these balloons. And I want you to notice that they're two colours. And the first colour balloon are the positive thoughts, all the happy thoughts, all the good thoughts, all the thoughts that help you come up with new ideas, that lift you higher, that carry you towards your goals. They're one colour balloon. And then I want you to look around and notice the other colour balloon. And at the moment, because you're feeling that lack of confidence and because you're feeling worried or nervous, I'm guessing the other colour balloon, there's much more of them, because those balloons are the negative thoughts. And at the moment, for whatever reason, you have got all that worry, all that concern. And so there are a lot more negative thought balloons around. But because you are choosing to take back control, you're choosing to change that positive story in your head, you're choosing to listen to your cheerleader and not that doubting Debbie, you can learn to let go. So what I want you to just do is every single time you have a negative thought, so when you notice it, I want you to imagine a balloon taking it away. So every single time you feel worried or anxious or stressed or tense, it works for anything negative you're feeling, not just the lack of confidence, anything negative you're feeling, anytime you have a thought that you can't do something or you're never going to be able to be good at it, or, you know, you should just give up now, I want you to just imagine those negative thought balloons drifting away. And it's not hard because the wind will just carry them off. And as you practice doing that technique more and more, you'll let go of more and more of those balloons. And what you're doing then is you're creating more space for those positive balloons to multiply, to grow bigger, so that the positive thoughts then take over. And it sounds so simple, but it is such a simple, effective technique. You are taking back control of your thoughts, and by symbolically letting them go with those balloons, you're telling your subconscious that you want things to be different. And the minute you tell it you're not happy, it will change things for you. It only wants you to be happy. So the minute you let go of those balloons, you can create space for those positive ones to grow. So I want you to just imagine it now. Those negative thought balloons just lifted up by the wind and carried off. Every negative thought, any unhappy thoughts, any thoughts that don't help you, you can let it go. Just drifting away. And you can see them till they disappear off onto the horizon. And the more you practice it, the more you'll just be able to let them go without really consciously thinking about it. You'll get a bit of balloon Tourette's every time you think of a negative thought, or you notice yourself thinking that negative way. I want you to just think balloon, and that will just let one go. Set one free, because those thoughts aren't doing anything but holding you back. They're weighing you down. They're not helping you in any way. And what we want is for those positive thoughts to carry you forward. So you can open your eyes again, take a few deep breaths. So they are my 4 tips for creating a confident you. So affirmations, changing that story that we're telling ourselves into something much more positive, reprogramming your brain to believe that you can be happy and confident and in control. What was my next one? Visualization. No, that was the last one. Hold on. That's the previous one. So, the positive affirmations, the transforming that voice in your head, silencing that doubting Debbie, and giving yourself a cheerleader. The voice in your head should love everything you do. Obviously, if you can do something dangerous, it should be able to tell you to stop. But you are in control of your thoughts, and you control that voice in your head. So if it's not telling you things you want to hear, turn it off. Silence it. Turn it into something funny. You want to be listening to that cheerleader. Then we had visualization. Creating that positive scenario, situation in your head so that it's as real as possible, allows your brain to believe it's already happened. So when you do have to do that thing you're lacking confidence about, it will just be a whole lot easier. And then the 4th one is to let it go. To let go of the idea that you have always been unconfident, that you will always lack confidence because you weren't born that way. And by taking back control of your thoughts, you can choose to feel confident. You can choose to feel in control in any situation. You can choose to be awesome and do anything, because I don't know you, but I absolutely believe that you can. And if I believe it, then the voice in your head should believe it. The thoughts that you're telling yourself should believe it. And you should believe it. So that is my class today on how to create that confident you. You've also got your breathe, relax, repeat exercise. That's a great way to just calm your breathing and get rid of stress and create a calmer you so that you can be confident and in control. You've got your 10 steps to speaking with confidence, which is a great little tool to just help you get in the right frame of mind to speak, whether that is to a crowd of 300 or just to meet somebody new in the street and be able to talk to them. And then you've got your hypnotherapy audio, which is about letting go of anxiety, letting go of worry, letting go of that feeling that you just can't do what you want to do. So letting go of that and replacing it with something much more positive, which is that anchor. And you have that wonderful new colour as well inside of you, that confident colour that's just going to shine out of you wherever you go. And I wonder how long it will be till everybody starts to notice just how different you are, that you just look more confident, that you sound more confident. And I wish you every luck in the world in whatever situation it is you're avoiding. I want to hear how you get on. I hope you've enjoyed today's class. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch at sarah@nolongerproblem.net. Goodbye for now.